Hello everyone and welcome back to Lucky Loaders 15, where I'll be giving you my 5 best tips for tomorrow's racing. Now before we get stuck into those, just a couple of announcements I want to make. First of all, I'm actually making this video slightly earlier than usual. I'm recording it at 1:45 this afternoon on a Friday. That's because I'm busy this evening, so unfortunately I just didn't have time to make it a little bit later, so apologies for that. Also as well, I won't be doing a recap because none of my horses have run so far at the time of recording. First one doesn't run today until 2:10, so fingers crossed we can get off to a good start with that selection. And also as well, if you haven't seen, I recorded a podcast yesterday and we uploaded it. I run my own horse racing podcast called the In the Saddle Podcast, where I teamed up with my mate Mark Horosky, who also works in the industry. A lot of you probably are aware that I do run my own podcast, but if you just wanted to listen to it, we created a podcast yesterday previewing the Arc and also as well some other nice racing this weekend. So if you want to listen to it, it's available on Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud. If you want to listen to it, there's links to it in the description box below, as well as my eye catchers of last week now, and also as well a video I created a couple of weeks ago on my tips and strategies to find winners. So if you want to watch those videos, click in the description box below. But let's get into the action for tomorrow. And we're actually going to be going across to France for our first selection tomorrow. Obviously we've got the Arc this weekend and I will be covering that a little bit later. Obviously I'll be uploading a video tomorrow evening covering the Arc, but I thought we could go over there for a couple of tips that I actually do fancy to run really well tomorrow. So yeah, we've got a couple of tips over there for the first day of the Arc Festival, and that's where we're going to be heading with our opening tip, with the 12:30 at Longchamp, where we go for the Group 2 race there. And I thought Max Vega could get us off to a good start here for Frankie Dettori and Rafe Beckett. You can currently get him at 9-4. That price was available with Bet365. Now he brings some of the best form to the table in this race, and last time we saw him, he finished in second place in the Geoffrey Freer at Newbury. Now, even though that was behind Hakoum, who has been a nice improver this season for Owen Barrows, and he might have, you could say, disappointed to somewhat of an extent in the St. Leger by finishing in 5th, Max Vega still ran a credible race, and that is a still good level of form, because if you look in behind, he had a Lignac and Mirando go to Chester on their next start and fought it out in a duel to finish first and second in a listed race. So that form was boosted in behind. Also as well that day, Max Vega, his jockey was Harry Bentley, and he lost the whip in the closing stages. I don't think that would have made a difference. However, he still formed very well. And the key to Max Vega is soft ground. He's got a lot of good form, especially from his juvenile days. When you go back through some of it, he won the Zetland Stakes at Newmarket as a juvenile, beating the likes of Miss Yoda, Berkshire, Rocco, you know, so he had some nice form as a juvenile. And I just think that we see him at his best when there's plenty of dig in the ground. Now, we all know, especially as well if you've been paying attention to the Arc this week and keeping up with the latest news, that the ground is going to be on the soft side, so it should be up Max Vega's street. Rafe Beckett's horses as well have been running superb of late. He's actually operating at a 30% strike rate. He's had 14 winners in the last fortnight, so he's definitely a man in form. And I just think Max Vega tomorrow, with the experience of Frankie Dettori, can get us off to a good start, and that's why he's going to be just an extra tip tomorrow, but my opening tip of the day. We then actually stay in France for the next selection actually, and this is going to be our last selection in France, so if you don't want to back my French racing tips, you might as well skip this part if you're not a fan of the racing over there. But this is going to be one of the feature races on the card there tomorrow, and that's the Prix de Royalou, which is a Group 1, probably just murdered that French pronunciation. And I'm going to be going with my Longshot here, which is currently available at 20-1. You can get 4 places with Betfair. And I think this horse has got a good chance tomorrow, and that's Paix, or I hope I pronounced that right, for Pierre-Charles Bourdeaux and Francis-Henri Graffard. Now, Graffard is a trainer that's definitely, in the last few years, started to go under the radar in France as one of their kind of like new kids on the block at the top of the game. You know, he's definitely started to become a bit of a thorn in the side of Andre Fabre, Jean-Claude Rouget. Very underrated trainer, had a Royal Ascot winner last year as well, and he's picked Pierre-Charles Bourdeaux for this ride, who is the king of Longchamp. Had a great arc last year, rode many winners, and he's been absolutely killing it this year in the French Jockeys title. Been riding plenty of winners, cleaning up everywhere. And this horse, Paix, has actually been a steady improver for Francois-Henri Graffard. Now, it has definitely been maybe frustrating for a couple of people a few times. However, last time we saw her, she put it all together and she won the Group 3 Prix de l'Etis, I think that's how you pronounce it, at Longchamp over the course and distance. And if you went back through some of her earlier form when she was running over 1.5 miles, she bumped into a few of these fillies. She actually was doing her best work late on, suggesting that she probably is a stamina-based horse and that the mile and 6 strip should really suit her. So when she went to that Group 3 race at Longchamp last time, it really did suit her. Also as well, Pierre-Charles Bourdeaux knows her quite well, won a listed race on her earlier in the season, so that's definitely a positive. And also as well, being drawn in stall 3, it's not a bad thing. You don't always want to be drawn too wide at Longshot, especially over as well the arc distance. So I just think with the ground on the testing side, which we know she can handle, the step up in trip, which was definitely seen to her advantage last time out, I just think she's got a lot of ticks in boxes tomorrow at a price. And where we sometimes fall into the trap, maybe the British and the Irish horses, even though a lot of the time they maybe do have the edge over their French rivals, we underestimate them sometimes and they can be bigger prices in the market. And with Pierre-Charles Bourdeaux as well, who's probably the man I would book if I owned a horse to ride at Longchamp. If you want to get a bit of value, he's definitely a notable jockey booking. And this Paix, the way she's been riding on some of her last few starts, go to the At The Races website to watch the race replay. I think she's a major player in this race tomorrow at 20 to 1 each way, and that's with the 4 places on offer with Betfair. We then go back to the UK, to the 2:45 at Newmarket with my nap, back into familiar territory for some of you. And we go to the Group 1 Sun Chariot Stakes there, and I'm going with an old favourite here, Billesdon Brook, and she's going to be my nap tomorrow for Sean Levy and Richard Hannon. You can currently get a 12 to 1 with Paddy, who are also offering 4 places. Now, I thought this was quite a disrespectful price, actually. I think she should be half the price. Now, if you've been following my work for a while, you might remember I actually tipped this horse up last year. I think I actually put her as my nap on the day, and I'm going to be siding with her again because I just think this has been the plan all season, and I don't know what it is, but when she goes to the Rolling Mile at Newmarket, it always seems to bring out the best in her. We all remember her win a couple of years ago when she popped up at 66 to 1 to win the 1,000 guineas, and then last year she was a big price as well. I think her final SP was 16 to 1. I remember I backed her at that price anyway, and she was a very comfortable winner in the end. Now this season, I think this is, like I said, been the target. All roads have been leading back here, and she's definitely been running with some consistency. She finished second on her first start at Kempton. She's also as well been finishing second a few times of late. She finished second behind Nazif in the Falmouth Stakes when running on really strongly. Second at Sandown last time out, but going back to Newmarket on the Rolling Mile with cut in the ground, it's going to be soft. Their conditions that definitely suit her, and for me, I think she's been overlooked in this market, and I think she should be half the price. And I think a 12 to 1 there with the 4 places on offer, I think she's a great bet to go very close. And for me, I'm really sweet on the chances tomorrow, and she's probably my best bet of the day. If I had to have one bet tomorrow, it would definitely be her, and that's why I'm going to be putting her up as my nap. So that's going to be the selection there. We then only have to wait 5 minutes for the next best, which runs in one of the feature races at Redcar tomorrow for the listed race there in the 250 with a horse called My Oberon for Tom Marquand and William Haggas. You can currently back him at 2 to 1. Now, he's been running really well in his last couple of starts. Finished second at Glorious Goodwood behind Tilsit, and then on his latest start, he bumped into top rank in a Group 3 at Haydock on soft ground. Now, Top Rank has definitely been a slow improver, had a few niggles, but always definitely looked like he could be a top-class horse. And even though, yes, he did flop at Newmarket last week, I would forgive him that run. But going back to the run at Haydock, My Oberon ran really well that day, and dropping back in trip from a mile to 7 furlongs I think will suit him. Maybe he's not quite effective at his mile. He does get it, but I think 7 furlongs is his ideal trip. William Haggas' team have been in good form, and if you go on that run at Haydock as well, he comfortably beat Calusi, who has disappointed ever since he won the Britannia Handicap, where he definitely looked like he could be a Group 1 horse. In my opinion, I think Calusi is more of a strong travelling type that maybe doesn't find so much under pressure. And for me, My Oberon, I think he'll keep trying his heart out, and he's a bit more of a fighter than Calusi. And for me, even though he was weak that day in the market, I remember he was a big drifter on the day. I think my Oberon is the one you want to be siding with here, and I think 2-1 is a fair price, and he gets all the allowances as well. Being a 3-year-old, I think he ticks lots of boxes tomorrow and is a solid option in that race. We then end with our extra tip of the day, which runs in the 305 at Ascot, the competitive handicap there, the heritage handicap, and I thought Orbaan could be a good one here for Jamie Spencer and David O'Meara. Now, this horse, Orbaan, I actually backed him at York a few starts ago when he won at a big price. And I always look at David O'Meara when he gets a French import. You might remember Lord Glitters is one of those that came from France to his stable. Also as well, Arecibo, okay, he's been a bit of a frustrating one in handicaps this year, but he does well with his French imports. And I just think that this horse has a bit of similarity to Lord Glitters, and maybe the eventual target is the Balmoral handicap on Champions Day in a few weeks' time. However, this horse, Orbaan, will definitely appreciate the ground tomorrow at Ascot. It's been raining there all day, or it would have done by the time we get to the race tomorrow. It's been raining there all day Friday, Saturday. There'll be plenty of juice in the ground, and he's going to like that. And he ran a good race last time on quicker ground when finishing 4th at Ascot behind Tempest. Okay, Tempest didn't necessarily boost the form by finishing 6th in the Cambridgeshire handicap, but I still think he ran a credible race, considering that you had to be up there with a pace that day, and anything coming behind it was very difficult. And plus that, the winner, Majestic Dawn, was able to get that rail and bag it, and nothing was ever coming back to him. So I think Tempest actually didn't run as badly as the bare results suggested, and I just think Orbaan with Jamie Spencer booked is going to come with a late run. And also as well, we know he can go over a mile, and even though this is over 7 furlongs tomorrow, I think you're going to be wanting to stay that extra mile, and I can see Orbaan coming with a late run. You can get 16-1 with 5 places with William Hill. I think that's a good each way bet there, and I think he can go really close. So that's going to be the extra tip and the last tip of tomorrow. So quickly just recap. In the 12:30 at Longchamp, we go Max Vega as an extra tip at 9-4. The Longshot the days in the 2:15 at Longchamp with Paix, 20-1 each way, 4 places Betfair. We then go to the Nap, which is 2:45 Newmarket, Billesdon, Brook, 12-1 each way, 4 places Paddy Power. 2:50 Redcar is the next best with my Oberon, 2-1. Win only bet. And then in the 305 at Ascot, we go with Oberon or Orbaan for James Spencer and David O'Meara. That's the last of the day, and that's my extra selection at 16-1 each way with 5 places. So they're the tips for tomorrow's racing. So if you haven't done so already, please remember to subscribe here to my YouTube channel at LuckyLoaders15. If you're enjoying the videos as well, please remember to give us a thumbs up, and if you want to follow me on Twitter, you can do, where my handle is at LuckyLoader15. And also as well, if you want to find out a little bit more about myself, check out my website, which is www.chrisloaderracing.co.uk. So please gamble responsibly. Hopefully we can have some winners tomorrow, and we'll be seeing you soon.